My Ramblings, this episode, the minimum wage. Back in 2006, when I was still a civil servant, I was making $75,000 a year. Might seem like a lot for an engineer with 15 years experience in the civil service. It's not bad, but for the contracted services to outside engineering firms, our contracting officers often paid them a good chunk more. Um, my ex-wife, when we got married, she was studying civil engineering. Family pressures were a large part of her not being able to pursue that or not wanting to pursue that. But fast forward to 2006, my ex-wife, well, she's my ex-wife now, didn't necessarily have to work, but she wanted to, and hey, we could all use more money, right? So, but I asked myself, how much would she have to make in order to actually create a net increase in our household income? So I looked at, okay, what does it cost for her to work? There's transportation expenses. There's increased wear and tear on the tires. There's more frequent oil changes. There's gasoline to get to work. There's a slight increase in the food budget for taking lunch to work and maybe occasionally eating out. There's a clothing allowance, as casual, social, and workplace clothing requirements tend to differ, or criteria, I should say, or styles, patterns, whatever. There's also taxes such as Social Security and income tax, and since she would be adding on to our income, we had a lot of exemptions, a lot of kids, so our tax rate was like 15%, and so I based it on a 15% tax rate. And of course, the big expense was child care. All of our children had not yet entered school. I think we still had one at the time that wasn't school age. So that was a big expense. So anyway, I took all these expenses, I added them up, I based it on a 40-hour work week, and just to cover all these expenses, she would have had to have made $11 an hour. That would be the break-even point. Any penny over that, then there's actually a net increase in our household income. Of course, I didn't take into account expenses covered by my salary, which was housing, car and health insurance, our general food budget, our general clothing budget, and so on and so forth. $11 an hour just to add as a break-even point for adding the next penny to our household income. And what I really couldn't understand is, since this didn't even take into account housing, is how anybody could get by on less than that. And that's the point that I became supportive of politicians who were in favor of raising the minimum wage. What should the minimum wage be? I can't fathom it being any less than $15 an hour. I haven't run the numbers on it to incorporate housing on what I think a livable wage would be. But I think from experience, 15 isn't so bad. So anyway, that's my rambling for today. If you were amused, troubled, enlightened, or just plain liked the video, please hit the like below. Thank you very much.